out my new shoes. There's a brand new
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, buckle some more. 5, 6.
Spring 2023 anime have been a big revelation. Don't worry, I won't be going over the no-brainers because they're no-brainers for a reason. I will be taking a look at the lesser-known ones instead, or well, used to be anyway. On a scale of dang to wholesome to mind-blowing, we have number 0. Ashinoko, aka my star. Okay, to be fair, this was a very obvious one, which is why it doesn't really count scale-wise, but I still need to talk about it because how could I possibly leave out an anime from the same author of Kaguya-sama Love is War? Come on, this title took the anime community by storm like very few others before it, becoming not only the most successful title on the platform that hosts it, High Dive, but also a record breaker music-wise, winning over the ears of Spotify and YouTube users all over the globe thanks to its catchy OD. In just a matter of days, Ashinoko swept all competition away, climbing its way up to the top of every possible chart out there, surpassing everyone, including historical giants by the likes of Steins Gate, AOT, and to my utmost surprise, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yes, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I know, rankings are just indicative. But that first 90-minute episode seems to really have left a mark on a lot of people, especially the over 100,000 who rated it on Mal,
allowing the title to reach a score of 9.17
long before episode 2 was even released. Talk about preliminary. I gotta say though, I was kind of thrown off balance when wanting to see what the show was even about. I finally decided to read the premise. Okay. In short, what do a pregnant 16-year-old idol, a doctor, a terminally ill girl, and a serial killer have in common? I guess you could answer this in a variety of ways, but let's see what Ashinoko has to say instead. Meet Ai, a beloved idol in the prime of her career, who's soon to bring forth a pair of cutesy blonde twins with the aid and support of her new gynecologist, Dr. Goro Amamiya. So far, so good, right? Sort of. Life as a starlet isn't easy and comes with its own set of complications, which is why it's in Ai and her manager's best interest to make sure that this whole situation flies thoroughly under the radar. I mean, can you picture just what might happen if something like this were to hit the news? Surely the repercussions on the girl's future and that of her children would be dire. Her reputation and mental health would also be affected, not to mention the likely backlash from fans and critics. Lucky for Ai, her private affairs are safe with Amamiya, who's been secretly her fan all along and is of course willing to go lengths to protect her. This couldn't have happened without the help of Serena, one of the doctor's former patients, as well as the one who first introduced him to the idol's music. She had been a big fan of the group ever since their debut, and would have certainly continued to be, had she not lost the battle against the lifelong illness that afflicted her. But despair not, because really? It just gets worse from here on? What was that? Okay, so basically you might feel the urge to punch a wall. Okay, and maybe cry a little. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but brace yourself because this can and will hit you right in the feels. Ashinoko draws you right in with its bewildering narrative, intriguing protagonists, and surprising turns of events, all the while exposing the darker, most concealed side of the entertainment industry, including the oppression and mistreatment that idols, but more broadly performers, are often subjected to behind closed doors. Will the series live up to the expectations? Only time will tell. But with a premise so gripping, your girl's got her hopes up, definitely. Number 1, Skip and Loafer. So, if you were looking for something a little less obscure, then this one's for you. The one thing that's immediately striking about Skip and Loafer, and I 100% am begging you to please take a good, careful look at it as you watch, is its fluid animation. Everything from the characters' most imperceptible movements to the incredibly faithful replication of mundane situations might trick you into thinking that what originally inspired this anime was actually just your own high school memories, taken directly out of your brain and then animated by the same house that produced Buddy Daddies and Angel Beats. And while this is most definitely not the case, you ought to be impressed regardless. To be fair though, all my picks were astonishing animation-wise, but let's carry on with this title for now. But no, really, wow. Okay, so she can be anxious, but also very ambitious, but also genuine, but also a little naive, but also really determined and an overachiever. Ladies and gents, I present to you Mitsumi Iwakura, the country girl with a heart of gold who decides to move to the city in order to pursue her goal of making the world a better place. And by the world, I mean Japan, for now. Mitsumi's dream is in fact that of becoming a government official in order to change things from the inside out. Chasing your dreams though might be easier said than done, and this anime wants you to be fully aware of that. As enthusiastic as Mitsumi may be, preparing to enter a new school in a place she's not familiar with, surrounded by people she's never seen before, when all her life she's been accustomed to the same old habits and faces, is bound to be a little intimidating. There is a big narrative focus on the shock that may follow such drastic life changes, especially as a teen. But while Mitsumi may second-guess herself from time to time and feel a little disconsolate, as one might expect, her commitment remains unbreakable. So join Miss Iwakura on this journey to adulthood and watch as she puts on a brave face, chins up, and gets going, despite all the trials and tribulations that are thrown at her. Thanks to her courage, the young girl would not only have made the first big step towards success, but she'd also get the chance to meet people that she wouldn't have otherwise. People that'll accept her and like her precisely because of her unique and at times burdensome traits, demonstrating that there's more to change than just drawbacks. Of course, it's not all going to be smooth sailing. What about those who try to fool, take advantage of, or straight up get in Mitsumi's way? Will she be able to overcome them too eventually? I guess we'll find out soon enough. Before moving on, there is one thing that I found uncommon and important to mention and refreshing to see, and that is the portrayal of a trans character, if I'm not mistaken. What I valued most about this representation was the fact that said character, Nao-chan, isn't a walking stereotype, but instead another wholesome, beautiful, kind human, imbued with dignity, nuance, and relatability. I also loved how supportive Mitsumi proved to be, especially during those scenes that encapsulate how needlessly rough things can be for those groups of individuals that are still marginalized to this day in real life as well. I don't know how the storyline will proceed in that sense, but I'm eager to find out and hopefully retrieve some of that faith in humanity that we all tend to lose somewhere along the way. Number 2. Loving Yamada level 999. Listen. Okay, I know. But listen, I'm going to be very brief and get straight to the point. If you can get past the first episode, throughout which the female MC is literally at her worst, I'm talking Nana Komatsu after a breakup type of worst, then I bet that loving Yamada level 999 will sooner or later get a smirk out of you. At first glance, the story might sound kind of trite. There are a lot of cliches even regarding the gaming side of it, but if you're just looking for a cute, classic, fun, and visually appealing rom-com, then do check this one out. It's not groundbreaking, in fact, some of it might even feel predictable, but it's a type of predictability that just works in its own way. What I'm trying to say is that this is a pretty normal story. However, it is sure to keep any hopeless romantic space stuck to the screen all the way through. Bonus points for the Japanese dub, aka the only one available for now. In particular, I'd like to praise the work of both Akane and Yamada's voice actors. I could quite candidly listen to them speak all day and not get tired. Their oh so different voices work so nicely together and fit their characters like a glove. That's it for this one. It's not for all, but it definitely is for some. Before we get into the really dark stuff, let's keep going with number 3, Insomniacs After School. Okay, so what attracted me about this one, believe it or not, was the flyer. A friend of mine had suggested I read the manga some time ago, but I never got around to it. So the moment I saw the big telescope and starry night sky, I was like, oh, is that it? It got an adaptation and I had no idea? Okay, cool, let's see. So from the get-go, and I might be completely off track here, I felt this unsettling emotion, okay? I can't really explain it. It was somewhat of an instinctive reaction, you know what I'm saying? Sprouting from the very depths of my chest. A very volatile, flimsy sensation, telling me that for some reason I should have dropped this anime right away and put it behind me while I still had time. Unless, of course, I was some sort of masochist striving to feel empty and heartbroken and devastated at once. That is. I don't know, it was just a hunch. Am I right? Probably not. Am I going to watch it anyway? You will never know. So, intuitions aside, what's this about? Well, the title is very telling. So, as you must have figured already, some of the main elements are going to be insomnia, school, and sure enough, characters with insomnia highly likely doing things after school. Things that probably see the telescope on the flyer that I mentioned earlier involved. Yep, so far this is actually a pretty accurate, albeit extremely basic outline of the story. So let's dive a little deeper, shall we? There's a worrisome rumor going around about an ominous ghost lurking within the school's observatory. They say it's got something to do with a girl who took her own life after being rejected. And the worst part is that to most, this doesn't seem to be a rumor at all. Yes, because more than one person swears to have heard strange noises coming from up there. It can't just be a coincidence, right? But in fact it is, or rather it's not. Or rather, that's exactly the type of doubt that our MC planned to instill in others when she first started spreading the word. That's right, this whole thing was actually a bit of a Machiavellian scheme plotted and carried out by Isaki, our first Insomniac MC. Why would she do something like that? Easy. That's because she discovered that in that old abandoned observatory, she's for whatever reason able to catch up on all the hours of sleep that her condition deprives her of at night. Because that's what insomnia does to you. It strips you of that sacred time of the day during which you're supposed to give your mind a break, forcing you instead to toss and turn and overthink and despair. And when you quote-unquote wake up the next day, drowsy, drained, nervous, anxious, and out of focus are just some of the feelings that you may be overwhelmed by. Okay, well, that's quite a preface, but guess what? Our protagonist is not alone in this. There's another guy, Ganta, going through the same oddly specific experience, and because of that, he also finds himself seeking solace and repose up in that solitary room with the telescope. The thing is, with Izaki furtively sleeping in there and a broken door handle, what's going to happen when the two inevitably come across each other? Well, we're just gonna have to keep watching, I guess. In general, I found the main themes of this anime quite compelling. Insomnia is a serious condition, and not a lot of Eastern or Western or Southern or Northern shows tackle this matter. Not that I know of, at least. So again, it was good to see something distinctive and unconventional. The romantic element is quite central and prominent too. But there's not a lot to comment on yet, considering that we're just 3 episodes in for now. It seems to me that the protagonists are going to experience some serious character development. But man, I don't know, I still can't shake off the feeling that something sinister is bound to happen sooner or later. We'll see. Okay, I lied. There is no clear winner here. We have a tie. The following production tickled my anime bone in ways I could have never imagined. Captivating stories, breathtaking visuals, the most incredible turns of events I've seen all season. No, scrap that, all year. So, in no particular order, check out my 2 personal faves of spring 2023. Starting with Heavenly Delusion. The last time I was this excited over anything, man, I can't even remember, but it doesn't matter now because now this exists. A jaw-dropper, a visual delicacy, a mind-boggler. This anime will get you hooked faster than a warm drink on a cold day, and rightfully so. Do y'all remember season 1 of The Promised Neverland? The absurd cultivation of children born and raised behind gray concrete walls, whose entire existence was based solely on becoming a source of nourishment for the ghastly, unearthly beings residing a mere step beyond the very boundaries holding them captive. The intricate machinations, untold mysteries, a dystopian reality, and all that. Okay, now prepare for trouble and make it double, because in Heavenly Delusion, we get to take a sneak peek into reality not just from one, but from both sides of said wall. 15 years ago in this world, a schism occurred that split humanity into 2 different factions. On the one side, we have a cyber-futuristic conglomerate packed with highly advanced technological machineries and clean-cut ultra-modern infrastructures. Much like in 1984, every square inch of this land is being kept under constant surveillance by the adults that inhabit it. Also diligent and scrupulous, not a hair out of place to be seen. If you didn't know better, you'd think this was like a very large hospital or something. Even the kids are exceptionally well behaved, perspicacious too, each with their own unique set of skills and distinctive talent. This whole territory smells of perfection, if maybe overly so. On the other side is just a sparse, desolated remnants of what once used to be a place, but is now simply a no man's land dominated by chaos. Here, Mother Nature's been reclaiming all that was originally hers to begin with, creeping up the broken windows and cracked walls, relentlessly washing away every last little stain left behind by humankind. Those who are not dead yet have it tough, not just because of the whole man versus nature versus everything situation, but because, you see, there's one final difference between this side and the other. Man-eaters. These daunting beasts are the reason behind it all. They're the ones who wiped everything out, but where they come from and what they want is still unknown. There's a place though, a place called Heaven, that might help our renegade MCs from the ugly side of the globe, Maru and Kiriko, make sense of it all. Heavenly Delusion will have you scratching your head, holding your breath, and come back for more. With its scripted characters hiding all sorts of unpredictable secrets, engaging fight scenes, and a plot so groundbreaking you won't be able to resist it. Bonus points once again for the animation. If they keep setting the bar so high, I'm just gonna lose it. I really am. Okay, once again, if slice of life isn't really your thing and you need something darker, then look no further than Hell's Paradise. P.S. Rejoice, sub-haters, there is a dub for this one as well. With this anime, there's just no beating around the bush. We're getting straight to the crude stuff. Introducing Gabimaru the Hollow, a silver-haired, wolf-eyed shinobi whose coolest attribute is by far his deathlessness, or rather the fact that he's pretty much immune to death. To better understand what I'm talking about, all you need to do is put this anime on and press play. What you're going to be met with is a scene featuring our MC and a bunch of fellas trying to torture the life out of him in the most unimaginably spiteful ways possible, of course without any success. But guess what? This insane pain resistance isn't even the half of it. Gabimaru is an impervious ninjutsu expert and fire manipulator who kills for a living. In fact, his moniker, the Hollow, derives from his expertise in assassinating targets without ever betraying so much as a trace of whatsoever emotion, which is kind of, sort of, to be expected from someone who was taken away from his parents as a child and raised to become a professional since. What the village chief who trained him might have not seen coming though was the fact that his own daughter Yui would fall in love with our protagonist and slowly but surely return to him the ability to feel, which to a killer, needless to say, is nothing but a hindrance. Matter of fact, after his wedding with Yui, the shinobi life became too tight for Gabimaru, which is why he finds himself wanting out. But quitting was never an option, and it was precisely this outrageous request of his that earned him the torturous death sentence we witnessed at the beginning of the series. Unable, or rather unwilling to die because he wants to reunite with his wife and spend the rest of his life with her, our MC's in luck. There is an alternative to death. A task which, if accomplished, could get him pardoned for the crime and set free by the Shonage himself. In company of Sagiri, a renowned executioner, and others in the same situation as him, Gabimaru is to try and retrieve the elixir of life on Shinsenkyo, a legendary realm rumored by some to be paradise itself. I gotta admit though that while the concept of paradise can indeed be pretty subjective, to me this place straight up looks like hell. No wait, not exactly hell, more like hell's paradise. This doesn't even shame me in the slightest. Shut up. Anyhow, the whole geographical area is one big enigma. In short, if you were to take a bundle of nonsensical phenomena and cram them all together in one spot, I'm talking mask-wearing poisonous bugs, titan-looking demons, beast plants, and whatnot. I mean, this is what you'd end up with. Very few make their way back from there, and those who do, well, do yourself a favor and go find that out on your own. This anime is packed with insanity, and I am here for it. So far, my experience with it has been something along the lines of, what is that? I need more. What I love most about it is the art. Have you seen them mesmerizing flowers? That color palette, the vivacity of it all. I just love it a lot. I've seen people compare this to Attack on Titan, but man, people compare Attack on Titan to everything. Come on. I mean, okay, fine. I do understand where they're coming from, in that design-wise, some of the beasts are vaguely reminiscent of one another. But aside from that, I'm sorry, I just do not see it. Who knows, maybe things will take an entire different direction with time and I will have been mistaken. But for now, whatever discernible similarity is strictly limited to just some of the art, okay? Yes, I'll give you that. Last but not least, voice actors, I appreciate you. Important mentions. Birdie Wings is back with a second season. I haven't watched it, but I know for a fact that a lot of people are into it. So here is your reminder for you. This one instead is not exactly new, but still, Golden Kamuy Season 4 is starting again after taking a somewhat brief hiatus caused by the passing of one of its members. My condolences. I hope this person's family is okay and I wish them well. Also, a big well done to the rest of the team. I'm sure it must not have been easy. As always, I love you, Truckoons, and I'll see you again on the next one.